You are not ready for what you're about to see. Seth Rollins just dismantled Brock Lesnar on Raw in a way that will change everything. This wasn't a regular match. This was a complete shutdown of the Beast incarnate, and if you missed it, you need to stick around because we're breaking down every single second of pure wrestling excellence that just happened on Monday night. Welcome back to WWE Express, your home for the most in-depth analysis of WWE's biggest moments. I'm your host, and today we're dissecting one of the most dominant performances in recent memory. Seth Rollins, the visionary, orchestrated something truly special, and we're going to explore exactly how he made it happen, what it means for the future of WWE, and why this moment matters more than you probably realize. Let's talk about what led to this confrontation. Brock Lesnar has spent years establishing himself as the most physically dominant competitor on the Raw roster. When Lesnar steps into that ring, the expectation is always the same: destruction, dominance, and victory. His opponents know it. The commentators remind us constantly. And the audience walks in believing they're about to witness an athletic masterclass from a genuinely elite athlete. But Seth Rollins understood something crucial heading into this encounter. He recognized that even the most dominant wrestlers have patterns, have vulnerabilities, and can be beaten if you're smart enough to exploit them at precisely the right moment. The psychological game started before any contact was made. You could see it in the way Rollins carried himself, the confidence in his stride, the focus in his eyes. He wasn't intimidated by Lesnar's size or reputation. He was prepared. He was ready. And most importantly, he had a plan. When the bell sounded and they engaged, something became immediately obvious to anyone watching with a trained eye. Rollins wasn't going toe-to-toe with Lesnar in a pure strength contest. That would be foolish. Instead, he used speed, agility, and intelligence to dictate the pace. Every move had purpose. Every positioning choice made sense. This was chess being played at the highest level of WWE competition. The security element was brilliantly woven into the narrative. Rather than feeling artificial or detracting from the action, their presence became part of the story. Lesnar is a competitor who needs space to operate. He's accustomed to overwhelming single opponents with his physicality. But when you take away space, when you limit his angles, when you make him conscious that there are other variables in the equation, you fundamentally change what he can do. It's a masterclass in tactical awareness. Rollins' team didn't make the mistake of getting reckless. They were positioned perfectly, their presence was felt, but it was Rollins himself doing the heavy lifting, doing the real damage, proving that he could stand with anyone. And then the offense began in earnest. This is where the truly incredible part of the story unfolds. Rollins shifted into a gear that you rarely see. He became a machine. His strikes were precise. His transitions were seamless. He was reading Lesnar's movements and countering them before they fully developed. Every counterstrike landed with significant impact. You could see the momentum of the match shifting entirely. The crowd was electric because they could sense something historic was happening. This wasn't a narrow victory over a distracted opponent. This was a complete, utter dismantling of someone who has been built as virtually unbeatable. Lesnar found himself in an unfamiliar position. He was being backed up. He was being hurt. He was being made to look vulnerable. For someone who has built his entire career on an aura of invincibility, this was significant. His usual strategies weren't working. His usual power wasn't enough. When he tried to launch his signature offense, he found himself met with counterstrikes. When he tried to regroup, there was someone ready to pressure him immediately. It was relentless. It was calculated. And it was absolutely devastating. The combination of Rollins' striking, positioning, and intelligence was on full display. We saw multiple variations of his offense, all executed with precision. We saw him reading Lesnar's body language and adjusting his approach mid-sequence. We saw him maintain control even when Lesnar tried to surge back with his power. This is what separates great wrestlers from truly elite performers. The ability to adapt, to think, to execute under pressure, and to make your opponent look exactly how you want them to look in that moment. The crowd reached a fever pitch. Every impact drew massive reactions. Commentators were struggling to keep up with the pace and intensity of what was unfolding. This wasn't just about winning a match. This was about sending a message. Seth Rollins was declaring himself as someone who belongs at the absolute pinnacle of WWE. Someone who can take any challenge, anyone on the roster, and emerge victorious through a combination of preparation, intelligence, and execution. What makes this moment truly significant is what it means for the broader WWE narrative. For months, years even, Brock Lesnar has been presented as the measuring stick for dominance. He's been the standard by which other competitors are judged. And now, Seth Rollins has effectively thrown down a marker saying that standard has shifted. He's proven that preparation beats assumption, intelligence beats assumptions. And that sometimes, the most dominant person in the ring isn't the one with the biggest muscles, but the one with the best game plan. Lesnar's aura of invincibility, while not entirely destroyed, has been significantly dented. Opponents who have feared facing him now have a blueprint. They've seen that he can be controlled. They've seen that he can be overwhelmed with the right strategy. That's powerful. That's the kind of moment that changes how people perceive him moving forward. Even if he wins his next 100 matches, this moment will be referenced. People will talk about how Seth Rollins solved the riddle of Brock Lesnar. For Rollins, the implications are equally significant. He cemented himself as someone who doesn't just win matches. He wins matches against the biggest challenges on the roster, he does it convincingly, and he does it while looking incredible in the process. He's elevated his status from main event wrestler to top-tier competitor, someone you have to honestly consider as a threat to anyone, including the world champion. This encounter also reminded us about something fundamental to professional wrestling that sometimes gets lost in discussions about athletic ability and physical prowess. Wrestling is about storytelling. It's about psychology. It's about understanding your opponent, understanding your audience, and orchestrating something that captivates people. Rollins displayed all of that in spades. He understood the story he wanted to tell. He understood how to make Lesnar look formidable while still thoroughly defeating him. He understood how to keep the crowd engaged and entertained throughout. The execution quality was on another level. There were no botches. There was no dead time. Every second served the story. Every transition made sense. Every offensive combination had logic behind it. This is the kind of match that wrestling purists, casual fans, and everyone in between can appreciate. It's technically sound. It's emotionally engaging. It's narratively satisfying. Looking forward, there are so many questions that this moment creates. How will Lesnar respond? Will he demand a rematch? Will he modify his approach? Will he seek retribution? And for Rollins, what's next? Does this propel him toward a championship opportunity? Does this change the conversation about who's in the top tier of WWE? These are the questions that make professional wrestling exciting. There are no scripts determining outcomes, no predetermined narratives in stone. Anything can happen when wrestlers of this caliber step into the ring. The beauty of what we witnessed is that it showed wrestling at its absolute best. Two skilled performers, one with raw power and athleticism, one with speed and intelligence, engaging in competition where strategy and execution determined the outcome. It showed that preparation matters. It showed that analyzing your opponent matters. It showed that sometimes the person who wants it most, who prepares the hardest, and who executes with the most precision, is the one who emerges victorious. This is the kind of moment that will be referenced for years to come. People will make clips of it. People will talk about it in arguments about who the best wrestlers are. People will use it as an example of how to properly execute an offense, how to tell a story in the ring, and how to beat someone that most people would think is unbeatable. Seth Rollins just elevated himself to an elite tier. Brock Lesnar's perception has been fundamentally altered. And professional wrestling just gave us a masterclass in what makes this sport so captivating. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more in-depth analysis of WWE's biggest moments, please subscribe to WWE Express, hit that notification bell so you never miss our latest videos. I read every single comment, so drop your thoughts below. What did you think about this encounter? Do you think Lesnar will want retribution? Where do you see Rollins heading next? Let me know in the comments, and thanks so much for watching WWE Express. I'll see you in the next one. There you go. Copy this directly and you're ready to record. It's approximately 6 minutes when read at a natural pace. Good luck with your WWE Express channel.